Last time, the shelter stood still as King Charles disciplined one of his own. Flower Dog, once his loyal soldier, strong, young, and fearless, now facing the king's cold authority. No one dared step in, no one even blinked, because everyone knew when the king decides to teach, you watch and you learn. But here's the real question. Why him? Why would King Charles turn his discipline toward the one dog who once bowed first and followed closest? This is where it gets deeper. This is where the real story begins. You think King Charles was just picking on Flower Dog? You think he was abusing his power? Or maybe you think having his loyal black dog army around him made him untouchable? Those are the questions we're answering today. Because from everything I've seen, Flower Dog was never a troublemaker. He wasn't violent. He wasn't disrespectful. In fact, he was friendly. Too friendly, maybe. But then, something changed. Something happened that King Charles didn't like at all. And when the king decides to act, he doesn't explain. He corrects. That's the moment everything shifted. The beginning of something deeper between them. Remember those episodes I made about King Charles and his favorite child? Yeah, you probably watched them. And you're thinking, what's that got to do with this story? Everything. Because if you've been following the saga, you'd recall that one title, Do Not Touch My Child. Now you're starting to connect the dots, aren't you? See, King Charles isn't random when he acts. Every move, every snap, every stare, it all means something. So what does his child has to do with Flower Dog's punishment? Why does that phrase, "Do not touch my child," suddenly feel heavier now? If you still don't see it yet, you will. The answer's waiting in the next chapter. Did you know that inside the shelter, King Charles already has grown-up sons and daughters? Yeah, a whole bloodline of his own. But among them, there's one, a young pup who stands out, the one who stayed closest to him. You've probably seen it in my earlier videos, that little puppy who was always by his side, even during King Charles' recovery. Through the hardest days, that pup was there, playing with him, keeping him calm, keeping him alive. It's like their bond became the reason the king stood back up again. Every nudge, every wag, every tiny bark, it healed him more than any medicine ever could. So now you're starting to see it, right? The connection, the reason behind the storm that's coming. What does this child have to do with Flower Dog's punishment? Hold that thought, because it's about to make sense. This was where it all began. One afternoon, King Charles was disciplining another dog. Just another day inside the shelter. His young pup, his favorite child, was eating quietly nearby. But then, something happened that changed everything. Flower Dog, calm, confident, maybe a little careless, saw an opening. He walked over, then took the food right from the king's child. He had no idea what he'd just done. No idea that the king was watching. In an instant, King Charles stopped what he was doing. He dropped the dog he was disciplining and locked eyes on Flower Dog. You could almost feel the air freeze. It wasn't rage, it was authority. As if saying, Why did you touch my child's food?" Then, with a single motion, King Charles took the food back and gently placed it before his pup again. That was the moment the balance shifted, and the king's mercy disappeared. You know what's strange? Flower Dog was never the kind who got punished by King Charles. Not once. I've seen countless clips, and the king never laid a paw on him. So here at Pawble, we tried to study the psychology behind it. Why did King Charles suddenly turn hard on Flower Dog? The only visible trigger was that one moment, when he took food from the king's child. Beyond that, there's no clear reason. And I'm not here to overanalyze. Maybe it's something deeper. Maybe dogs live in a world of instinct, respect, and unseen hierarchy that we can only try to understand. But one thing's for sure. Every story inside this shelter, every look, every action carries a lesson. And through King Charles, we're reminded again that respect, once broken, changes everything. Now this is where everything changed. After King Charles fully recovered, the shelter felt different, especially for Flower Dog. The air, the hierarchy, everything shifted. You could even sense the confusion among the other dogs. They knew something happened, something only they could truly understand. Because dogs see things we don't. They feel power, respect, and betrayal in ways humans can't explain. And then there's Thorm, the king's iron soldier. He's been through endless discipline himself. But no matter how harsh it got, he never left the king's side. So maybe that's the real question here. Will Flower Dog be the same? Will he stay loyal, even after being broken by the one he serves? Only time will tell. But one thing's clear. In King Charles' world, loyalty isn't a choice. It's a test.